Well, I'm here still in Kibbutz Amiad, and I'm talking to Tomer, okay, who I've never met before, and he doesn't know me. And Tomer, from what I understand, is a brand new kibbutznik of 1 week old.
About
1 week old. And he's a very good English speaker because he's an English teacher. So, Tomer, let me ask you a few questions about you and about your background and how you feel about kibbutz and why you came to kibbutz. So, what is your background? How old are you? Where do you come from?
I'm 38, almost 39, going 39. Mm-hmm. Originally, I was about 25 years. I lived in the center of Israel, in Rosh Hain. It's a city next to Petach Tikva.
That's where Gal Gadot comes from.
Exactly. So she was two shchavot behind me.
2 years behind you.
2 years behind me.
Yeah.
So I know her.
Okay.
So I was 25 years in Rosh Hain. I have 3 children. I'm a teacher. I'm a Shelach teacher, which is a discipline that educates students from Israel to be more connected with their country by the prime method of traveling by foot. So this is the main...
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Because my son is a licensed tour guide.
Exactly. So a lot of licensed tour guides are also turning to be Shelach teacher. Because it's a steady job.
So explain to me the process of Shelach. I'd heard the word, but I didn't know about it. So you Shelach, say connection with the land by hands on and
exactly.
feet on.
By foot. So first of all, Shelach is initials for Shin Lamed Chet, Shelach.
Okay, and acronym.
Acronym. So the Shin stands for Sadeh, field. The Lamed stands for Leom, nationality. And the Chet stands for Chevra, society. So those are very general fields, like Sadeh, Leom, Chevra. But those are the main fields of agenda for this discipline. Like the Sadeh is the method, the trips, the tracks, the field capabilities and skills. The Leom, the nationality, is basically the Jewish nationality, but Shelach also Shelach has teachers in the Jewish society and in the Arab society, both Christian society and Muslim society. So nationality also stands for their nationality, which basically and obviously is not the Jewish nationality.
Yes, yeah.
And of course nationality in Israel is very complex, so Shelach tried to bridge this gap by meeting together and get-ups and so on. And society is try to educate the students to be more active in their society by volunteering and be more aware of the third parties organization and their contribution to the society, in environment and society and other minorities needs and so on. So it's a very different discipline. You know why? Because all the disciplines try to their main focus. You tell me, you were a teacher also. What was your main concern as a teacher? Eventually.
Well,
eventually.
It depends where you look at it. But first of all, discipline.
I think today the main goal of a teacher, any teacher in elementary school or in middle school or in high school, is the grades. Do you agree with me?
In the days when I taught in a kibbutz school, it was just the start of getting the grades. Before them, it was just general education. But I understand what you're talking about: grades and examinations.
Grades, and grades. Yeah. So in Shelach, the main goal is the education for different values, is the connection with Israel, by hiking, by being outside. So those are the main goals of Shelach, which are pretty different than any other discipline, math, literature, and so on.
And in fact, that brings us to the commonality between Shelach and Kibbutz.
You can look at it in this
Depends.
way.
Yeah. Okay, so you were 1 week in Kibbutz and you came from Rosh Hashanah. And where did your wife come from? Also Rosh Hashanah?
Or Petach Tikva, but
The center of the country.
very close
Yeah.
to Rosh Hashanah.
Okay, why did you decide on Kibbutz?
So after the pandemic,
Yes.
okay, we took some time to think about our lives and how we would like them to be in 10 years to come, in 15 years to come. And we had some time, you sit at home and you have some time to think for yourself about...
There was a lot of introspection during COVID.
Exactly. And you really have to dig inside, because you have no other way. You are stuck in home and you find yourself thinking and digging, and it was my wife basically long life dream to move to kibbutz or to move to some rural settlement area and so on.
Be out in the countryside.
To be out in the countryside. In Israel, there's not really a countryside.
I agree with you.
In Germany, the countryside is named hinterland, which is the back of the country, like something that supports
Australian outback.
Exactly. So in Israel, we don't really have like
We don't have vast spaces. We do have country, but it's in between the cities.
Even our country is divided. You can't really decide which part is our country or the Palestine country.
Yeah.
Those questions are really basically the most problematic questions in the Israeli society, okay? So we don't have a countryside as I see it. I do a lot of traveling by myself, and you don't really get the chance unless you're traveling in some very specific areas in the desert when you can go and see really no infrastructures at all, no planes, no electric cables.
What the Americans call the wilderness.
The wilderness, we don't have really like primitive wilderness areas, but we wanted to perform some change, and my wife preferred area is the north of Israel, Atzafon.
Yeah.
Really lush and vast and green and a lot of water and like some different temperatures. And we sat and we looked for some places, and an advertise of Kibbutz Amiad popped in Facebook. So when I talk to people, they ask me, how did you got to Amiyad? You have any connection with this place? And I'm telling them, no, Facebook.
Okay, social media was paramount and still is paramount.
But only as the trigger,
Yeah.
only as the first initial incentive to look for places. And we got to Amiyad, and this is the main part, and we were really impressed by the people in the community and the warm welcoming we received, and those were the base, the reasons that we got to this kibbutz.
Okay.
But coming to think about it, looking retrospective, I see that it was like a huge risk, because we not only moved, but we changed a lot of things, and it was a big risk for us.
Okay,
And
so-
I guess it still is a big risk for us.
So by moving location, you were also risking your livelihood and your job and looking for a new
Exactly.
job. Yeah.
Exactly. And real estate wise and education wise for my children, I have 3 children.
How old are your children?
Going to 3rd grade, going to 1st grade, and kindergarten.
I see. Okay. So you took a leap of faith and you arrived here a week ago.
10 days, yes.
10 days ago.
Yes.
So, from looking at kibbutz from the outside, what's your first impression? First impressions count. What's your first impression?
So, first impression really positive, okay? by many aspects. Okay, first of all, by an urban person who lived all his life in urban areas and in cities, Petach Tikva and Rosh Hashanah mostly.
Which is all part of Greater Tel Aviv.
Of the Gush Dan area.
Yes, yeah.
Which is today Gush Dan is really vast. It's from
The
Gadera
Dan block of Tel Aviv, Bat Yam, Cholon.
exactly,
everything.
Rishon. It
Yeah.
goes all the way to Yavne. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really connects because
In the center of the country with high prices and a lot of traffic jams and you name it.
So I lived in an apartment, really in the center of the city of Rosh Hashanah, and I didn't got a lot of chances going to travel with my kids. And why is that? Because we lived right above the central junction of the city, and it's really stressful moving all those crossroads and all those traffic lights with real little children, with bicycles and so on.
Nowadays the big problem is with the electric scooters and
Yes.
electric bikes and everything, and they come fast behind you, you don't know they're there.
Exactly. They get you by surprise.
Yeah.
So here my children, at day one, like really immediately, they got their scooters and got outside freely, and I'm relaxed with the knowing of them being outside. Everything is really calm, peaceful as I see it. I like to be active. I like to run 2-3 times a week.
Sure, exercise is good, me too.
So I got like 4 or 5 chances of running around those hills. We are right in the border of a nature reserve, the mother of the wheat, which was discovered by Aaron Aronson,
Okay.
the great Jewish botanical researcher. So we found like what is generally referred as the mother of wheat, like the original wheat. Found the original plant before he got a lot of DNA transformations.
I see.
He found this original plant in the hills above Amiyad, next to Mount Canaan.
I see.
So you can have a lot of opportunities running around those amazing landscapes.
I see. And how far do you run?
I can run up until Nahal Amud, Yar Limonim,
And back again, so you're
And
talking
back
about
again.
15-20 kilometers.
15-20 kilometers.
Yeah, yeah.
And everything is really wild, a lot of animals, really peaceful. For me, it's like a paradise, actually. Really enjoying myself.
So this is paradise for you.
Exactly. I'm walking around Kibbutz path. I'm thinking, wow, it's really paradise. And there are a lot of really warm welcoming from a lot of the new neighbors. I think that Kibbutz Amiad is lucky and also he took a lot of thinking, planning who will be his future members, who will be his future members of management, not only members of kibbutz community. And you can feel it. A lot of really nice, intelligent, bright people, enlightened people, you know what I mean?
Enlightened and forward-looking.
Exactly. And looking to perform the next social reform of kibbutz in 2022, because the next reform won't be the reform of the social revolution of the 60s and 50s and 40s.
And of the 80s and 90s, the financial revolution.
The financial crisis.
Yeah.
It's a crisis.
It was a very, very big crisis. And that's what made all of the kibbutzim starting to soul search and say, what the hell is going on here?
And also a lot of introspective thinking regarding like a lot of fundamentals ways of kibbutz is they are still true in 30 years ago, like common sleeping and how do you raise the children.
Yes, from the children's houses
From
to
the children's houses,
sleeping at
sleep
home.
together, like from the age of 1 week, basically.
Yeah, from the baby's house.
So those were also together with the financial crisis, a lot of introspective. So today, all the people are working for themselves, but they are still, I think, dedicated to those social reforms of the 30s and the 40s, the social reforms, and trying to establish something that is based on community, but relies on 2022 guidelines. Everyone works from themselves in a really capitalistic world, but still maybe through education and community events we can try to figure out our future together.
I see. So let me ask you a question. Can you still call a place like this kibbutz?
It's a very good question. It's a very good question. I don't really know, and I don't really feel that I possess enough knowledge to give you like a thorough answer.
Fair enough.
For
All
me,
right.
it's not the kibbutz.
Yeah.
It's a lighter version of kibbutz.
Kibbutz Lite.
It's a kibbutz light version because you have like the private property,
Yeah.
the private area of grass next to your home,
Yeah.
and you have the pool. You have all those marks that the general population recognize with kibbutz, but it's not the kibbutz. It's not the common kibbutz of all days, מה שנקרא the kibbutz השיתופי.
It's not the communality of a kibbutz that was.
Exactly.
And it's a new kibbutz.
Exactly. So it is a kibbutz, but I think it's not the original kibbutz. I don't have the same obligations for kibbutz
Oh.
regarding everything, basically.
Well, what obligations do you have as a new person being absorbed in kibbutz? What is the kibbutz? What does the kibbutz require of you to become a new member?
It's a perfect question. Basically, if you clean all the noise from outside and you get to the core of things, I don't owe the kibbutz nothing. Everything is relies on my and other members' goodwill. And kibbutz tries to pick those members that he thinks will be
Active?
will be socially involved. But he can't really force you to be involved in social lives and be an active participant in vadot,
In committees.
in committees, thank you. He can't really force you to do so.
So
So it's a really good question.
Oh.
You're obligated to pay all the taxes,
Yeah.
community taxes,
and
and
service,
arvut hadadit tax,
mutual
Mutual-
reliance.
mutual reliance tax, and for the education, it's called the not official education system,
Yes,
החינוך הלא בלתי פורמלי, not formal education.
Informal education.
Informal education. So you're obligated to pay those taxes. But I will give you like an example from the recent days. You have a lot of meetings in which the members that do attend those meetings try to get to some askamot,
Agreements.
to some agreements regarding various aspects, various subjects. And afterward, you go to the kalpi to vote.
To vote in the ballot.
To vote in the ballot, okay? The kibbutz can't force you to vote. If you want, you will go to vote if it's important to you, and if you want to take an important part in designing the future of this community.
So
But no one will look at you. Maybe you will get like an odd eye, an odd glance. You know what I mean?
yes,
From other members.
because you're living in a small society, in
Exactly.
a village, and people are up close and personal.
But But no one can really force you to go to vote, to be active in those committees.
You're now homing in on a number of topics. One, you're homing in on democracy in kibbutz.
Exactly.
But before we get to democracy, I want to ask you a question. Do you have to be a special type of person to live in kibbutz?
You can give me an example of what you mean?
Yes. Most people who live in town, they're looking for themselves and their families. And you don't have to know your neighbors or be interested in your neighbors. Here, you're in a small village where there is a lot of dependency factor about how you enjoy life. So I'm asking you, do you like the up closeness of being in a small village in kibbutz whereby you're an active participant?
So still getting used to it. I think I'm an active person. I'm a tour guide. So tomorrow, basically, I initiate like a trip on full moon up above Tiberias city.
I see, to Arbel and
next close. It's in a Switzerland forest, Yar Schweiz.
Yes, huh?
So I will take my going to third grade daughter and all of other children that will from Amiyad that will go to the third class, Kita Gimel, and I suggested that we will hold a trip in full moon. So this was my suggestion in my field of knowledge and not my field of expertise. So I'm inclined to those kind of behaviors, but I think that I don't know enough, and you have to look at things after a sufficient period of time. Like 1 week is not enough, 10 days is not
enough. It's
enough.
just the first impressions.
So my first impressions that I'm an urban boy. I'm a city boy.
Yeah.
Everything here is near to me. I like the wilderness. I like the openness, the warm welcome that we received. But I have to take some more time to see how it fits in, how it settles with me, with my family. From the first glance, it looks brilliant. Okay, it looks fantastic. But I guess I see only the positive aspects of things right now. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I have to adjust a more sophisticated point of view.
Okay.
I have to gather some more experiences.
You've been here 1 week. You're in a rented house,
Exactly.
which is quite spacious. Can I ask you a financial question?
Yes.
How much rent you pay here?
About 3,000 shekels.
3,000 shekels, and what do you have here in this house? 3 bedrooms?
So basically this is a renovated project that added 2 one-bedroom apartments that was first held the youth of kibbutz, like dirot noar, the youth apartments.
Yeah.
And the kibbutz was, you know what, it's a good question. The kibbutz was really positive and really generous with him renovating a building project for me and my family, for our need. Because our house, which is in Archava area,
In the new neighborhood.
in the new neighborhood,
Of
the
Nuriot?
exactly the Nuriot Hills,
Yeah.
Nuriot Hill.
Yeah.
So my house, which is being under construction right now, is not ready yet. So kibbutz was really generous and really thoughtful with him, thinking the needs of me and my family, renovating this house for us.
As temporary residents.
Exactly.
And how long will the new build take? From the start to now, how long to the end of the construction?
So I will divide my answer for two parts. The first is the planning and all the bureaucratic issues and the purchasing and the payments for all the bureaucratic organizations, the organization of it's not really
Real estate.
but so the authority for real estate of Israel, it's called Rami, and the Ministry of Construction, Misrad Habinui V'Hashikun. So a lot of bureaucratic issues, and with the regional council of Galil Elyon,
The planning department.
exactly, and the planning department, and the planning of your home, the division of the rooms and so forth. So this part can take about up to 2 years.
But in the meantime, you can start building.
No,
No.
you have
I
to
see,
you have to complete all those stages. You can get a permit, and with this permit you can go on to another organization, and you can show them the permit that you received. Then you can pay them, and they will give you another permit, and with this permit you will get a file open in the ministry and so on. So the planning and
You started the process 2-3 years ago?
exactly 2 years ago. Exactly 2 years ago, and the actual construction is about a year. It can be shorter, but it's about a year.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, why, if you wanted to move to a rural, a countryside environment, why did you choose kibbutz and not moshav?
So really being sincere, I didn't back then knew the exact differences between moshav and kibbutz. And I still don't think that I know.
For our viewers, moshav is just a normal farming community, which now isn't just farming, but it's business enterprise as well.
Exactly. So I think that what attracted us as I can say still a young couple to the kibbutz is the sense that things are being thought for the benefit of the community. And I don't think it really necessarily characterizes all the kibbutzim in Israel, but I think it characterizes Kibbutz Amiad and a warm welcome that we received from day one, and which not only מתבטאת coming to expresses as a warm welcoming and being nice in all the meetings, but in actual things that happen, like this apartment, that is a goodwill expression from kibbutz side to my family.
They gave you this, and they planned this, and they're doing this. What is your commitment to the kibbutz?
I think that kibbutz is expecting me to be volunteer, to be active, to be an active participant in the different committees, to come and vote, to be a good neighbor, to suggest things that you can suggest, because all of us are individual with free thoughts and spirits that all day we can think about different subjects and ways to implement them. So I think kibbutz is expecting me to be active and to see what I can contribute to kibbutz community and the success of this community and kibbutz in the current kibbutz state 2022. We need a lot of money to regenerate the social life, the informal education system. You need money for this, not only talking. So kibbutz is expecting like not only an active participant, is expecting like a productive participant, a productive members of community.
One of the opinions I've heard is that nowadays you have to be quite financially successful to come into kibbutz, as opposed to what was years ago. your new house which is being built, how big is the plot of land that it sits on?
The plot of land is 500 meters.
And how much actual living...
Square meters, of course.
Yeah, of course. And how much is the actual building? How many meters?
It depends between how you measure it.
Yeah. The floor space and the veranda.
So it's 174 meters on one floor.
On one floor.
On one floor, exactly.
What, three
so
bedrooms?
4 bedrooms and one living room. Some mirpasot, outside balconies.
Yeah, balconies.
Outside balconies.
Okay, well, you've got a lot of the space.
Yeah, it's really spacious.
Because we're out here, almost in the outback of Israel, almost, or the periphery.
Exactly.
You don't have to answer this question. What type of money are you paying for a building like that out here, as opposed to the center of the country?
I don't know how I can say.
If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. I'm not going to sort of probe like this, but
no, I don't think it's.
I'm just interested in real estate prices.
I don't think it's a secret.
No.
I don't know how I would pay for this kind of construction in the center of Israel.
It'd be 3 times the price.
Something like that. I can surely determine that it would be a lot more expensive. But building here will cost me everything more than 2 million shekels. But it really depends on the quality of materials and the quality of the finishing that will be in your home. So it really depends. You know what I mean?
I know.
You can build and you can build.
I see. All right. I can't think of any more questions because you're still a newbie here, a new boy.
An urban boy.
And it looks good.
Thank you.
It looks good, and you've been wonderful. You've answered my questions, and
thank you.
Hopefully, it will really enlighten the people, not only the English speakers abroad, but hopefully also other Israelis, because you've done a very good promo for Amiyad.
Thank you. I didn't intend to.
No, but as an example, I personally, okay, I won't go into my opinions. This interview is about you, not about me.
I really think that the community here is really surprises me with its openness and its sincere will to really perform the new social 2022 change for current kibbutz state, which it's not kibbutz of 50s and 40s. It's something new. You talked about it. We called it Kibbutz Lite.
Yes.
So, but still, you can try to figure out what will be the model that Kibbutz Lite will be designed in light of. You know what I mean? And I see people here which are really new members. I'm talking about members of 3 and 4 months, and are really committed to be an active participants in different committees. I'm sure that you've heard that Kibbutz is now undergoing a planning process regarding the future vision of Kibbutz in 2025 or 2026, about 5 years from now, okay? And you can see that a lot of the participants in 4 different committees, okay, are new members, and they invested a lot of hours, let's say 30, 40 hours in the last 6-8 weeks from their free time after their devoted and committed days in their private works, still managed to put aside their personal life and sit together in different committees and thinking like general core issues of kibbutz, klita and absorption and no, absorption is like
integration of new members.
So integration of new members committee and business committee and education committee, investing a lot of hours, and there are new members. So I was really impressed.
Well, what you've done here now is you've answered the question that I haven't asked yet. The question is that we've all been questioning ourselves: does the kibbutz, as an individual kibbutz like Amiyad, or does the kibbutz movement have a role to play in the state of Israel? Years ago, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, 80 years ago, the role of the kibbutzim was settlement and defense. Nowadays, you've indicated that the kibbutz has a new society role to play in Israel.
I didn't think about it until you brought it up, but yes, and maybe other roles that are still to be found, still to be discovered, that we haven't thought about it yet.
Well, tomorrow and next year and the year after.
So there are a positive winds of change. This is what I can sense, what I can feel.
So maybe we could define that as sociological pioneering.
Maybe, because it's a different version of kibbutz. It's a different version of lifestyle. You don't have to leave your kids because you don't. So basically, from what I understood, the main reason that the children were together, grew together from the age of infancy until, I don't know, adulthood, was that all the adults had to work really hard and together many hours, so they put the children aside.
Yeah.
So they won't interfere them with the hard work, okay?
Well, it depends the way you look at it. First of all, the original pioneering kibbutz, there was a very strong physical work ethic. But, as I've interviewed another guy in kibbutz Kfar Masaryk, he said, we worked so that our children should have the best. And the first brick house or solid house that was built in Kfar Masaryk was the children's houses, while the members, the pioneers, lived in tents and huts. So they pushed their kids forward and they worked hard to make sure that their kids had the best.
So you have like different aspects of the same issue. You have like an ideologist, socially awareness way of thinking, and you have a necessity of the kids being a burden of the time of work, and in that case you have to clear this time for the parents.
I think that as we're talking, maybe I should come in on camera. Just move a little bit. I hope. Charlie, I've run out of questions. Thank you very much indeed.
It was really pleasant talking to you.
Really, really very good. And between you and Michal and who was it, a neighbor who came in, I've discovered a new aspect of younger families in the kibbutz and why you came to kibbutz and how kibbutz is developing and how you're integrating into the society.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good.
Okay. Anyway, we can talk or in English or Hebrew while I'm panning around.
So as Ivry is taking a video right now, we can see the periphery of Kibbutz Amiad, and the road is road 90, okay, the center road for Kiryat Shmona and even for the southern part of Israel.
Northern part of Israel.
The northern part if you go that way, and the southern part if you go the other way.
Yeah.
So now you are recording, you're taking camera of the Archava.
The new neighborhood.
The new neighborhood, Nuriot Hill. It's the name of this neighborhood. It will consist of about 53 private property-based homes. And this is the first part, which is like a quarter of a circle. The second quarter of a circle will be in flow of this Archava neighborhood and will go closer to the road, okay? And will consist about something like more 50 based homes, based land homes. Another Archava neighborhood will be in that way, northern
Towards Elifelet.
towards Elifelet, in the side of this stream, of this valley, and will be consist of about 140
Wow.
land-based homes.
So the total of, in the plan of the extended kibbutz in the future, I understand will include something like 400 or 500 family units, maybe.
About 200 land-based homes.
Yes.
Maybe they have more apartments in their caliber, you know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yeah.
This is the nature reserve, the mother of wheat. Okay, in these hills, in these mountains, these rugged limestone mountains, Ron Aronson, the great botanical researcher, found out the mother of wheat, which is the first not genetically transformed wheat, the original version, which is like a really incredible plant, really nutrient, really good for your health. The wheat that we eat today is really far with its properties from the original plant of wheat. And if you go in that way, you will get to the city of Safed, okay,
Yes.
which is
Up in the mountains,
up in the mountain, which
above the
is
sea level.
about 800 above sea level, 800 meters. They are in competition with Kiryat Shmona, which city is the capital of the Galil area, Birat
see.
HaGalil.
Okay.
You have like a lot of competitions like this, like that. Birat HaShfela, Birat HaMerkaz, the capital of Galilee, the capital of Shfela area, lowland area, and so on and so on.
So not
Safed is in that
only
direction.
are you a teacher of Shelach, but you're also a registered tour guide.
Yes.
Yes.
Something like that.
All right, shall we take a walk up the road here, and I'll film as we're walking, and you can already see a better part of the new neighborhood called Nuriot.
So all of these infrastructures, for example, this new road,
Yeah.
is brand new.
Mm.
You can see even the infrastructures of the street lights, LED-based street light lamps.
Yeah. One thing I noticed as I was walking about the kibbutz at night, every pathway is fully lit with street lamps.
And it's really sophisticated street lamps because it have a sensor.
And
Movement
they're all
detection.
solar powered, I
They
think.
are all solar powered, and another really cool thing is that they have a sensor for movement detection,
I see.
which means that if the lamp can detect a movement, suppose a person is walking next to the lamp, it will increase the
Activity.
volume of light.
Yeah.
So the kibbutz is lit in night, but a small amount of light, not like in the city, which is really nice.
Which is not a waste of energy.
It's not a waste of energy, and it not pollutes a lot of it not emits a lot of pollution, which is today we refer it as light pollution, artificial light pollution.
So both in terms of illumination and the sociological development of Amiyad, this is Kibbutz Lite.
This is kibbutz light. It's a good one.
All right, this is enough for us here. We'll just stop here. I'll pan round. And this is just 1/4 of the semicircle of development.
Exactly.